and welcome to Nail Theory Foundations by Trieu Nails London. In the previous video, we went over how to be effective at work, and in today's video, we will be going over effective communication now with the client. Let's get started. Okay, so customer care. Many organizations have a customer care statement which outlines the standards of service customers can expect. Customers do want to enjoy their visit to the salon, which they are paying for a service, and it's important during each visit they are made to feel relaxed and comfortable. Remember that each client has a different personality and treatment needs, so requiring a different individual approach each time. So it's important that a client is not made to feel intimidated, uncomfortable, ignored, and you can do this by your verbal and also non-verbal communication. So how you look at them and how you behave in front of a client is important. So we talked about in the previous video about positive relationships with your colleague. We're now going to talk about positive relationships with the client. So when you meet the client, always smile and make eye contact and greet them cheerfully. You want to then promote yourself and gain the client's confidence in your technical expertise. Develop a working professional relationship. Again, establish the client's needs and then promote your service and treatments. So verbal communication is obviously when you talk directly to them. It can be face-to-face on the phone. In this situation, it's always important to be a good listener. This again will guide you to understand their personality and the treatment requirement. So then once you've developed your professional relationship, listen carefully and always avoid interrupting. This was mentioned before, and it's worth mentioning again. Also, when asking questions, try not to interrogate, but rather bounce off their answers and avoid technical jargon. Generally, in conversations, avoid controversial topics and only really go into it when a relationship with the client has actually been established. Because clients will often share some personal information, but once they actually get to know you. Never ever pass judgment and ensure the client has the confidentiality that's expected. So always respond appropriately. If the client requests information that you're unable to respond to, politely inform them that you're unable to or not qualified to deal with that request, but can get someone else to assist. Or if they could email through, indicate how long it will take, if not immediately. So that was all verbal communication, but in terms of non-verbal, this refers to your body language. So it's a very important skill to have, and it's important to learn how the client is behaving, including the voice, eyes, or body, arm, and hand movements. So that instinctive feel can actually be developed over experience. Certain things you should recognize and adapt your presentation and voice and tone and your approach to the client, depending on what signals they give off. There are situations where the client can give a conflicting signal. For example, they might be smiling and nod as if interested, but in fact not be. And then situations, on the other hand, if a customer makes the first approach, then they obviously have an active interest. So the customer may initially be formal and have a stiff body posture and reserved manner. But if they do become more interested, their posture will relax and they will lean forward and usually nod and agree. These are certain things you should look out for. Over time, with experience within the industry or within your clients, you will slowly pick these things up. It's also very important to be aware of your own body language and use it to good effect. So use relaxed, gentle hand movements and do not turn away from the customer. Shake. Always actively listen, so nod your head in agreement and smile. Situations where you could see the client is not agreeing with you. If they don't look interested, then they're generally not. If they're bored, tap their fingers, fiddle with their shopping, or look away. It's, as we mentioned before in the previous topic, when promoting products, it's important to always go back to the beginning and try to understand maybe that's the product they don't want or the price is too high. So reasons why they might not want it, perhaps the product's not the one you recommended, or perhaps it's too expensive. So go back to the beginning, suggest alternatives, and if the customer has not decided to buy or to buy, smile and thank them for coming in. You always want to avoid dissatisfied or unsatisfied customer. In such situations, some will register their dissatisfaction there, others will simply just not return again. So this can be prevented through some of the mostly through effective communication and good customer care. So the ways you can actually prevent them: ensure that the consultation has gone through correctly, regularly check the client's satisfaction during treatment. For example, throughout the manicure, if you're filing the shape, ask the client if they're okay with the shape. Always inform the client of any disruption to the service, how long it will be, what's the problem. So for example, I'm sorry, but we're running 10 minutes late, are you able to wait? For the inconvenience caused, offer them a drink to compensate. So inconveniences caused by disruption to service can be compensated in some way, either 10% off, or if you're offering drinks in the salon, then offer this. So let's assume a client is dissatisfied. These are the following things you'll need to do to deal with them. Now, dissatisfied customers in the first instance, if solved and dealt with correctly, can actually become your best and most popular client. So it's important you don't just shrug them off. So some of the tips first is to stay calm and listen to the client's complaint. If you're unable to handle it, then pass on to someone who can. Always inform the client what you're doing. Establish the facts and take appropriate actions. Always aim to repair the relationship, although at the times it may not be possible. And remember, not all clients are genuine in complaint, so always look to establish facts and tactfully advise clients. Always remain courteous, professional, and create a positive impression throughout. Remember, customer care is vital. They provide salon incomes and therefore your wages. So we mentioned part of the customer care is client consultation. So you should always carry that out. Certain things you might want to put in the consultation. This is quite thorough, so you don't have to put all of these down, but this is just a list of things you could. So name, address, contact number, doctor's name, contact number, date of birth, expectations of the treatment, medication, medical history, the current lifestyle, any known allergies, treatment history, any contraindications, so anything that's stopped them from having the treatment before, any advice, and signature of the client therapist. Once you have taken this consultation, all the records must be kept secure and available to you next time individuals come in. Just a side note, in terms of licenses, you do need to have a treatments license if you're operating in the premises. So for anything from massages to manicures and pedicures to tattooing, and they all have their own individual licenses. So if you have a manicure and pedicure salon with light and laser removal, you need to have a license for each of those individually. So again, it's illegal to offer any of these special treatments without a special license. And so that's it for today's video in terms of effective communication with clients. Again, if it was too fast, feel free to pause the video at any moment, and you can take down notes from that. But all you generally need is a general brief of what effective communication with a client is. So in the next video, we'll be going over a very short topic of taking payments and how to take payment in different types, in different ways.